If your cat lives indoors, you have more control over their health than most people realize. No hunting, no foraging, no scavenging in bins, just you and the food you choose to feed. Most indoor cats are being fed biologically inappropriate food, high in carbs, low in moisture, filled with junk, and marketed as science-backed nutrition. Today, I'll break down what indoor cats actually need, why commercial food is failing them, and what you should feed instead if you want your cat to stay lean, healthy, and thriving indoors. Before we start, my name is Sam. I'm your cat's nutritionist, and it's important for you to understand that I only specialize in nutrition and that I'm independent. I am not beholden to anyone. I give you my opinion as it is. Let's start with what your cat actually is. A strict obligate carnivore. That means their body is designed to get all of its nutrients from animal-based sources, complete sources. They don't need carbs, they don't crave fruit, they aren't little omnivores. They've got no salivary amylase, so carbs hit the gut undigested. When me and you eat rice or wheat, we can break it down in the mouth because we have this enzyme. Cats don't have it. They also have a highly acidic stomach. They have short intestines, not designed to ferment fiber, and they have no hepatic glucokinase, so they struggle to regulate blood sugar. And yet, nearly every indoor cat formula you see is loaded with grains, legumes, plant protein, fiber, and even sugar. But people always say to me, "Hey Sam, my cat's too picky. They'll never switch." But here's the thing. Indoor cats are actually easier to transition than outdoor cats. Why? They aren't hunting, they don't have access to other food, their routine is stable, and they rely entirely on you and me. That gives you complete control over the food environment. And with a little bit of patience, that's all I'm asking you, you can transition even the fussiest eater to something better, healthier, more hydrating, and more biologically appropriate. Your cat is simply going to be better off. Now, let's talk about a lot of these commercial cat formulas. Let's start with what they claim. They say hairball control, weight management, tailored for less active cats, indoor, whatever the case might be. Sounds good, right? But flip the bag around and you will see corn gluten meal, rice or wheat fillers, you'll see pea protein or soy, you'll see powdered cellulose, you'll see natural flavors, which is a mystery term for mystery additives. You will see things like meat and animal derivatives. You will see meat and bone meals or meat and animal derivatives that are very, very vague, and sometimes actual straight sugar. Let me be clear here. They aren't ingredients that support feline health. These are ingredients that support profit margins. Indoor cats need less marketing and more meat. So if commercial cat food is complete garbage, what should you actually feed? Here's a breakdown of what indoor cats actually need to thrive. The first thing is moisture-rich food. Cats evolve getting water from prey, not balls. If you think about it, a small rodent is 60, 70, 80% water. Moisture-rich food. High animal protein, real muscle, real organs, real bone. Low carbohydrate content, ideally under 10% on a dry matter basis if you are feeding them kibble. And natural fats for energy, gut health, and absorption of fat-soluble vitamins. Listen to me. Cats rely on fat instead of carbohydrates for energy. This is known as the Randall cycle in science. The body can choose either fat or carbohydrates for energy. In the case of obligate carnivores, it is fat what they rely on for energy, not carbohydrates. When you feed them carbohydrates, you go against their nature. Furthermore, no sugar and no sweetness. They aren't only unnecessary, they make the food hyper palatable and caloric dense so that your cat comes back. But it isn't biologically appropriate. No grains and no legumes. They're not digestible, they're not needed. And please, no low quality kibble as the main food source. Cats suffer from something called chronic dehydration. They need a high moisture diet. Whether you're on a budget or looking to go all in on Feline Nutrition, here are some options. The first one is better commercial kibble. If you find a kibble that is very, very high in meat, very, very high in crude protein, and that crude protein comes from animal sources, that is a good kibble. Meat, organs, bone, and very, very low carbohydrates. High meat, low carbohydrate. That's what your cat needs. Second thing would be a better commercial wet food, or you can alternate between kibble and wet. Look for canned or pouch foods where the first few ingredients are whole meats. No grains, no sugar, no caramel colors, and none of that malarkey. Also, try to avoid too many thickeners like carrageenan, guar gum, xanthan gum, and all these things that add to the palatability and the texture of the food. The next tier up would be lightly cooked or raw. Gently cooked meals made with real ingredients, meat, liver, heart, bone broth, are much, much closer to what your cat is meant to eat. These can be homemade, more on that in a second, or bought pre-made if you do your research. For most people, a commercial raw food would do 80% meat, 10% offal, of which 5% is liver, and 10% bone. And your cat is going to absolutely thrive on that if you are patient enough and if you can incorporate it. That's what my cat eats. My cat eats raw food and is absolutely the most biologically appropriate option I can give him. And he absolutely loves it. Now, if you really want to delve into how to feed your cat for optimum health, I developed a guide, How to Feed Your Cat for Optimum Health. It walks you through exactly how to build a species-appropriate diet for your indoor cat. It's an absolute eye-opener and an invaluable resource. It will help your cat so much. How to Feed Your Cat for Optimum Health. The link will be down below. But that doesn't stop there. Let's call out the worst things I routinely see in cat food that are absolutely egregious. Powdered cellulose, that's indigestible plant matter, often used as a filler. Caramel coloring or sugar. It has zero business being in cat food. Rendered meat products or byproducts. They are vague, they're very low grade sources of protein, and they should never be in cat food. You want traceability. You want to know precisely what's going into your cat, whether that's sardine, tuna, mackerel, chicken, or whatever. If I see meat byproduct meal, do I know what I'm giving my cat? I don't. The manufacturer reserves the right to give it to you. Why? It's a financial decision. It isn't a health decision. We also see a lot of legume-based protein, pea protein, lentil protein, chickpea protein, a biologically inappropriate, incomplete protein replacement, and those tend to be very low in leucine, which is the most essential amino acid, which is indispensable for muscle protein synthesis. Also, can we please stop pretending grain-free automatically means better? Most grain-free foods just swap corn for peas, tapioca starch, or potatoes. That's not better. That's just different junk. 50% bag of rice and a 50% bag of tapioca starch is pretty much the same. And at this point, you might be thinking, okay, that sounds great, but my cat won't go for it. That's what everyone says until they try it right. Here's how you do it. The first thing is you need to start very, very slow. Maybe you mix in 5% new food, maybe 10%, and then you increase gradually. And that increase gradually might mean 2 weeks, it might mean 2 months, it might be 6 months. I don't know. That's what slowly means. You can also warm the food slightly because it brings out aromas, and cats tend to be quite fussy when it comes to aromas. You can also try toppers. Bone broth or freeze-dried treats can ease the switch, and those are pretty good. Also, please, if you free feed your cat, you need to set meal times. Stop the free feeding. Cats adapt very, very fast when they get hungry. A hungry cat is a lot more likely to eat the food you present them with than if they're not hungry, if they're grazing all day, every day. And then, please stick with it. Most failed transitions happen because people give up too soon. Remember, your indoor cat doesn't have options. They'll eat what you provide if you are consistent. As long as the cat is well hydrated, there is nothing to fear. Listen, most indoor cat foods or commercial cat foods are designed for human convenience, not cat health. But your cat deserves better than carb-loaded, ultra-processed filler. Even the veterinary prescription diets are absolutely dismal for cats. They aren't biologically appropriate. When you feed high-quality, meat-based, moisture-rich foods, your cat loses excess weight. They groom less, they poop less, they have better energy, and they stay healthier for longer, which is what you want. You want your cat to be with you for as long as possible. So why not feed them in a biologically appropriate manner? Why feed them something that goes against their nature? And you love your cat and I love my cat. I'm madly in love with my cat. And what I want for him is the best. I want for him to be with me for as long as possible. And by me giving him what his biology craves, I'm doing him a massive favor. Whether you're feeding canned, wet, raw, DIY, kibble, there's always a way to do things better. It's not about being perfect, it's about learning something different, something new, and trying to adapt and improve things. Listen, you should be giving the middle finger to a lot of these commercial cat foods that are biologically inappropriate and that are designed to increase the profits of companies instead of caring about your cat's health. There is a whole industry behind cat food that is biologically inappropriate, and it's an absolute disgrace.